Greetings. My name is Moises Orozco Villicana, and I serve as a Director of Enrollment Management for the School of Information Sciences at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. I'm really excited to be one of your presenters. My presentation is titled Mapping Out Career and Graduate Degree. So in this presentation, I provide an overview of some strategies that prospective students can use to identify possible career paths and how to leverage those interests that you have towards graduate school. So I always recommend prospective students to do four of the following items. One is to engage in research. So if you have an opportunity to do a independent study with a faculty member, or maybe you're part of a research team, I definitely want to encourage you to continue that, because that's going to be such a wonderful launching pad into continuing to refine and also develop your areas of interest. I also highly encourage prospective students to obtain pre-professional experiences, whether they're paid or unpaid, but obtaining an internship can really give you a strong sense of whether or not that is the profession you want to pursue once you've completed your undergrad degree and are now trying to identify graduate school options. Another great way for you to obtain experiences is through volunteer opportunities. So I always highly recommend students to be part of local as well as statewide volunteer opportunities that will enable you not only to expand your network professionally, but also to give you experiences as you begin to focus on your career path. And lastly, one thing that I highly encourage people to do are informal interviews. So if you come across somebody that has a position um, that you see yourself pursuing once you've completed your undergrad and your grad degree programs, and you want to know more about what they do, what type of classes they've taken, what type of grad programs they ended up pursuing, to put them in a position to secure that job, I definitely encourage you to um, expand your network, have a conversation with professionals in careers that you see yourself pursuing once you've earned your degrees. A phenomenal resource that I encourage people to utilize is the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's a wonderful resource because not only does it show you a list of all different types of employment by sector area, it also shows you projected growth for that industry. So I just pulled some of those resources, so some of the sector areas that are listed in the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, just to give you a sense of the numerous paths that students can pursue once they've completed their degrees. For example, students could go into the private sector, they could go into education, both K through 12, higher ed. Students can go into research areas, healthcare, information and technology, as well as federal and state government agencies. So once you have a sense of the career path that you want to pursue, that should become the impetus for you to start looking for and identifying graduate programs that align with the career paths that you want to pursue once you've earned your degree. So it's super important that you identify the credentials, the expertise, the hands-on experiences that you'll need to become a competitive job applicant for that career profession that you're interested in. So when you look at different graduate programs, really focus on the degree requirements, the research being done by faculty, whether or not that department has a robust career and advising unit that will support your success while in that graduate degree program. Also think about funding. Does that graduate degree program come with funding, or um, or does it come with deployment opportunities where you can obtain either a tuition waiver or tuition reduction? Does that academic unit have scholarships, fellowships that you could apply for, and most importantly, um, how those funding sources are available to students? Are you considered for those funding sources automatically through your application materials, or do you have to apply directly towards those funding sources? So again, it's a lot to think about, it's a lot to explore, but I do want you to be mindful of the different financial resources and sources that are available to graduate students. One thing that often gets overlooked is the type of student outcome data that academic units have to show the success of their students. So do you have a sense of the graduation rate for that academic unit, that graduate degree program? Do you know how many of their graduates end up placing either full-time or part-time positions? How many of them end up pursuing an advanced degree once they've completed their master's degree? So again, there's a lot of great resources that you can identify as you begin to narrow down your options when it comes to pursuing a graduate degree program. Also, location might be important to you. Are you currently residing in the West Coast, but you're open to moving across the US to either the Midwest and East Coast, or maybe you're deciding that you're just focusing on staying in the state that you're currently in? So again, location does play a role as you begin to explore your graduate school degree options. And then lastly, focus on the application requirements. So that's a nice segue into my next slide, which focuses on the application process. So I always share with prospective students that they should begin with the end in mind. So if they know they're applying to an institution like the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, that our deadline is December 1st for PhDs, as well as master students in the library information sciences. So knowing that the deadline is December 1st, then you should start walking backwards and identify key markers in the calendar that you'll need to accomplish, whether that's notifying your recommenders, starting to write your personal statement that you need to submit. Does that institution require you both a personal statement and research statement? Those are all components that you'll need to identify when you've located a program that you are pursuing for admissions. Also, consider the type of testing required. Do they ask all applicants to submit GREs, GMAT? For international students, do you have to submit an IELTS or a TOEFL exam to demonstrate your English proficiency? If you're applying to law school, does that institution require you to submit an LSAT? So it's super important that you identify the deadline and begin um, to finalize and mark the requirements needed for you to be considered. And most importantly, the two other areas that I highly encourage students to consider is being organized. So making sure that you notify your recommenders of the deadline to submit their recommendations, that you also submit thank you cards to your recommenders, and most importantly, following up, letting them know what the final outcome of the application process went for you. And lastly, seeking out help, whether that's that the program that you're applying to. Programs typically have staff members that are excited and eager to work with you and notify you of any updates or changes in the application process. So again, don't be intimidated by reaching out to faculty or admission staff members as you apply for different programs. So with that, I want to end this presentation by really focusing on your career aspirations and how those career aspirations can come into focus when you pursue a graduate degree program. When you pursue a graduate degree program, you'll be doing research, you'll obtain the credentials, you'll also secure the experiential learning opportunities that will really put you in a position to be a strong candidate once you go into the workforce. And most importantly, you'll also develop the academic expertise as you work towards accomplishing your career goals. With that, again, my name is Moises Orozco Villicana. I serve as the Director of Enrollment Management. You're welcome to follow up with me. Just visit our ischool.illinois.edu/visit, or you can stop by during our virtual booth on during the Midwest Summit. Again, thank you. Have a wonderful day and best of luck.